Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Y'all, we are about to do another fantastic budget-friendly craft room idea. Stay tuned. If you have been watching any of my videos since the beginning of January, you will know that I have been doing videos on organization ideas for our craft rooms, ways that we can get organized in 2021 without breaking the bank. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I love today's project, and I think you will too. So here is today's project. You can't really tell what it is with me just holding it up, but I'll turn it to the side and that'll give you more of an idea of what it is. This is meant to be mounted to the wall or the side of a shelf or on the door, which is what I'll be doing with mine, so that I can store projects in process in these. Many times when I'm crafting, I have several projects going at once. So I'll start working on one, might lose my mojo on that one, and move on to another project. So this is a great way for me to stay organized on having my projects in process already out in front of me so that I don't lose sight of what it was I was thinking about doing. This is so handy, so easy to make, and so well coordinated with what I've been doing for my own craft space. So we are going to make this right now, and you're going to see just how easy it is. So here is what I'll be using on today's project to make this fantastic wall storage. I will be using some contact paper from the Dollar Tree, and I will be using some wrapping paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it will not take much for this project. So then I have a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I have a piece of 8 3/4 by 12 inch cardstock. And then I have the pieces for my foam board that I will be using. Again, I will be using foam board that I get from Hobby Lobby. If you don't have foam board, but you want to try to make this project, guys, please use whatever it is you have available that you think you can make work for this project. So for the foam board pieces, we are going to need 2 pieces that measure 3 by 9. We're going to need 1 piece that measures 9 by 12 3/4, and we will need 1 piece that measures 13 by 13. So y'all know what time it is. Let's get started. So let's bring in our contact paper and the foam board piece that measures 13 by 13. And I am just going to trim out some of this contact paper so that I can do a wraparound. And so now let's remove the backer sheet from our contact paper. I'm going to get that placed just like that. Then I'm going to take my 13 by 13 inch piece and place it down. Then I'm going to flip it over and use my big old spatula to check for air bubbles. And if you find that you have any air bubbles, just lift up and smooth them out. And so once you don't have any air bubbles, we can flip it over. And I am just going to miter my ends so that we can do a wraparound. And I'm mitering on all 4 corners of this 13 by 13 inch board. And then I'm just going to take my contact paper and wrap it around. Smooth that out. I'll come over to the other side and do the same thing. Smooth that out. Then I'm just going to fold in these little points on the edge. Then I can pull this over. And I'll do the same thing here. And so we'll have something that looks like this. And now you can take your 12 by 12 inch piece and we're going to place it down. And so I already had adhesive on the back, so I just placed down my 12 by 12 inch piece. And now I have the foundation for my board. You can see my 13 by 13 here, but that's not going to matter because when I put my front cover on, that's going to cover it. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have written on this side, but I didn't want to waste any of my foam board that I miscut. So we're going to go with this showing it's for me, so that makes it okay. All right, guys, so I am going to bring in my wrapping paper and my board that measures 9 by 13. Then I am going to place this down, trying to get it on my grid mark so that the plaid pattern will be as even as possible. And I'm just smoothing it out. So now I'll use my finger blade, and we're just going to remove some of that excess. And now I'll just miter here and miter the remaining 3 corners. And I am going to use my tape runner on this part. So I am just going to take my tape runner, run some tape, and wrap that around and get it stuck. And I'll take my spatula and just fold in those ends that might be sticking out. Use my tape. Get this end stuck. Then I'll do the same thing over here. Just pull in those sides that might be hanging out. Use my tape and get that stuck. And so now I'm going to bring in my piece that measures 8 3/4 by 12. I am going to add just a little bit of glue to this. I'm going to go around my ends, making sure that I have a good stick there. And then I'll add some glue in the center. I can take this piece and place it down. Use my paper towel to help get everything spread out. And then of course I'll use my big old spatula to make sure that all contact with the glue and the paper is there. So now we have these 2 pieces. We need to do our side pieces. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take this 3 by 9 rectangle and turn it into a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make myself, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but you're going to the center point. If you don't feel as though you can eyeball the center, take your ruler, place it across the bottom, and mark at 1.5. And then all I'm going to do is take my ruler, place it on the mark, and then angle out to the end. And I can trim away. And then we'll come over to this end and do the same thing. So this time I'm going to place my ruler in the corner and then just slide it over to where that center point is. And I'll just trim away. And so once you trim away, you're going to have triangles. So I have tape on these already. I am going to remove that tape. And I'll go ahead and remove the tape from both sides. And so then I'm going to bring in some of my scrap paper, and we're going to go ahead and place this down like this. Then I'll come here to the top, and I'm just going to angle a little bit and I'll cut that away. And then I'll angle here and remove that. So I am going to just take off a little bit because I really don't need all of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just reduce at the bottom because we really don't need all of that overhang. So now that I've removed some of the paper, I'm just going to grab one side of this and wrap it around. Then I can flip it over and remove the excess from that side. And then I simply need a little bit of this to wrap around. So all I'm going to do is trim like that, do a test fit, and that is going to work. So now I'm going to take just a little bit of my glue, place my glue on this, I'll wrap it around, and then I can trim away my excess and trim away any at the bottom that might look like it's excess. And now I have this piece here at the top that we are simply going to wrap over. And then I'll remove any excess that I have from that piece. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So let me just place that there. Lift my tape. And then we can take this piece and place it down. Then I'll use my finger blade. We're going to remove some of this. And we'll remove some here. Trim that down. And I can remove some of this because we don't need all of that. Then I'm just going to remove a little bit of this. And I'll make sure that I come here at the bottom and go ahead and trim away some of the excess around that bottom piece. So this is really what we want to try to end up with. So I'll take this piece and do it just like I did the first piece. I'll wrap around and then I'll remove my excess. All right, so then we're going to remove just a little bit of this. We'll take our glue, place some glue, and then we'll do a wraparound of this piece. And now I will use my finger blade to trim away that excess. Make sure that I don't need to trim away any at the bottom. And now I can take my glue, place just a little glue, fold that over. And then I'll use my finger blade to go in and trim away any excess. And so now, y'all, we can put this together. And the way that we do it is we take our triangles and we're simply going to mount them to this board here. Now, how far apart you mount will determine how much space you have in between and whether or not you'll be able to get a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my ruler and just place it down because I know this is 12 inches and I want to make sure that when I place my triangles that I am on the outside of these so that I can definitely get 12-inch papers on the inside. So now I'll grab my piece. I'm going to take my big old spatula and just go along the edge to make sure I've got it nice and squared. Take my glue, and I'm going to place my glue on this piece. Then I can take this piece and place it on the outside of that ruler. And I'm making sure that when I place it, I am placing it so that the point of the triangle is at the bottom there. And then I can just press down. Let's go ahead and do this one. We'll do the same thing. So I'm going to take my glue, place my glue here. I'll take this piece, try to match it up with how far I've come in on this side, making sure that I have it at the bottom here, so it's nice and flush at the bottom. Then I'll press down. And so when you place your top down, make sure that you place it from the top so that you can definitely have those top pieces covered. And then we'll press it down. So I'm just going to stand it up, take a look at it to make sure I've got everything all nice and even. And when it is, then I'll press down for my permanent stick. And then once you let this dry completely, your projects that you place in here are not going anywhere. And take my ruler out. So now you can see that we can get anything that's 12 inches wide in this wall holder. And so the final thing that I'm going to do, it really is going to be just to stop any of my papers from sliding through. I am going to use my glue gun, and I am just going to run a bead of glue across the bottom in between those two boards, just like you would run a bead of caulk. Then I'm going to just let that harden, and that's going to stop anything from sliding out the bottom. All right, guys, so I am back with our finished project for today, and I'm going to hold it up so that you can see just how gorgeous this is. And like I said, hold your 12 by 12s easily. So if you're like me and you're working through multiple projects, why not make some of these wall holders so that you can put each individual project and process in its own individual holder. And guys, that's just another quick and easy way for us to stay organized in 2021. And I'm going to give you guys a very quick peek of how I have these hanging on one of the closet doors in my studio. So isn't that an absolutely awesome way to add storage to your craft space and do it in a way that is oh so chic and oh so posh? I absolutely love the way that mine are shaping up and the look that I'll have in the end. So the way that I mounted mine is I used the 3M mounting foam, and I know they sell mounting foam at the Dollar Tree, and maybe you've had success with that, but I haven't. So I didn't want to risk it, and I just decided I would splurge on some 3M, and I know that when I stick this to the wall, it's not coming down until I want to take it down. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this project. And if you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this awesome online crafting family. You guys, be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.